Hello, I'm Cheryl. Welcome to my sewing room. I'm going to demonstrate how to do decorative top stitching using a straight stitch and paper. This technique can be used on quilts, table runners, pillows, and placemats, or anything else you want to sew it on. So here's an example of what I mean by decorative top stitching. I have this yellow table runner with chickens all over it, and I wanted to add a little more personality to it. So I drew these little heart shapes, or designed this little heart shape pattern that goes down the full length of the runner. It is a really easy technique, so I don't want you to be intimidated by it. So let me go over the kind of paper that I use. Basically what you're doing when you are doing this is you're going back to your paper doll days when you were a little kid. That's the concept that we're using. And the paper that I use is this really thin paper that I bought at at a hardware store in the paint department. And it comes in a variety of widths. This is a 6-inch width, and then here is a 12-inch width. I don't use the 12-inch width very often, but I use the 6-inch most of the time. But on some projects, I do have to use it. You're going to measure the full length of your table runner. Then subtract anywhere from 2 to 3 inches from that measurement. And you're going to cut a strip of paper that length that you came up with. You're going to take the paper, and we're going to do it just like our paper doll days, and you're going to fold it in half. Okay? Make sure you fold it pretty evenly. Then you're going to fold it in half again, and as you can see, when it's curly like this, it's a little more challenging until you get used to it. So I'm folding it in half again. Make sure it's as even as you can get it. There you go. Okay? Now I'm going to do a diamond shape. Okay? So you're going to lay it down, and you're going to trace all the way around this diamond. And I'm going to show you one that I've already done. So here's one that I've already done. I've also drawn these little connecting lines. So from the point out to the edge, I drew a little line, and then I did the same thing at the other end. These connecting lines connect one diamond to another diamond. Then you're going to go to your sewing machine, and you're going to take the thread out of your needle, and you're going to stitch along all of the lines you traced. Okay, on all of them, even the connecting lines. As you can see on this, here are all my little dots. These are called perforations. This will make it easier for you to tear the paper off later after we've stitched it on to the runner or quilt, whatever you're making. Okay? Then you're going to unfold it, and let me show you my next sample here. You're going to unfold it and pin it down on your runner. I pin the corners because the corners are curly, so I pin those down. I put a pin in the center of each diamond. Then you're going to go over here and start at this end. Now you're not going to sew on this first connecting line. You're going to skip it. And you're going to start right here at the point and stitch down to this corner. Leave your needle down, press your foot up, turn your fabric, stitch down to this corner, and then stitch along this connecting line, and then repeat the process all the way down to the other end. Let me bring this in a little bit more for my handy dandy cameraman. And you're not going to stitch on this little connecting line down here. You're going to leave your needle down in this corner, and turn your fabric and begin the process of going down the other end. Now, a process that I use when I'm at my sewing machine to help control the fabric so that you don't screw your stitches up is that in the beginning, before you even start, you want to have the table runner rolled up gently. Don't squish it, just gently have it rolled up so that you can use both hands to manipulate the fabric, okay? Especially when you're working with that heart design that I showed you, working on curves, you need to have that flexibility of using both hands. So as you complete your first diamond, you're going to unroll to the second diamond and roll this one up. Stitch that next diamond, and you're going to keep unrolling and rolling, unrolling and rolling, all the way to the other end. Then when you get to this last diamond, you're set up, when you turn it, to repeat the process again. You sew that first diamond, unroll and roll, and keep doing it, and you have an easier way of controlling your fabric. Okay, now I've already got this next row of diamonds stitched on. This is the fun part. This is where you get to tear the paper. Okay, now if you didn't shorten your stitches, which you should do when working with paper templates like this, is shorten the stitches so that when you go to tear the paper off, you don't pull your stitches out and get all these little loops all over the place. So if your stitches are shortened, you're probably not going to have a problem. If you didn't shorten your stitches, you need to be extra careful. So you might want to do this to weaken the paper a little bit more, and then you're just going to start tearing it off, okay? And you're going to keep tearing it all the way down. So I take all my outer edges off, okay? I do all the outer edges first. And do this edge, okay? Then when you go to pull your diamonds out, they usually pop out pretty quick. Okay, like that. Now, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I have a little bit of paper remnant sticking in there. I usually just take a pair of tweezers and pull that out. So, that's how you do that. Very easy technique to use. So let's go back to that first table runner I showed you with the hearts on it, and I'm going to show you how I did that design. Okay? On this particular case, I used the 12-inch paper. All right? You can buy these heart templates in your fabric store. And I chose one of the sizes, and I just laid it down on my paper, again, traced around it. Now, on this particular design, I have one heart pushed closer to this edge. The other two hearts are pushed closer to this edge, so that when you open it up, your hearts intertwine like they have here. These two hearts went into this section here. So I'm going to open this piece up. I don't know if you can see it. See that? See how it just fell right into the other row of hearts, and it makes an interesting design to look at. So that's one idea for you, the hearts. Let me show you a couple of others. Okay, here's one where I chose a hexagon shape and a square. And again, you can get these shapes in your fabric store, or you can create your own. This is a 2.5-inch square, but I just made it 2 inches. Okay, let me show you some more ideas. Here are circles. You could do a row of circles. Now when you're working with curves like the heart or the circles, when you're doing the stitching, you need to go kind of slow. You don't want to go zooming along because they won't come out very pretty. And here's another option. Here's a triangle. Now, I am not an artist. I cannot draw worth a hoot. So I have to have templates. But for some of you who are very talented in that area, you can probably draw your own shapes. So there you go, an easy paper technique for drawing your own paper decorative stitching. So I hope this was helpful to you. This is fun for me. This is the fun part for sewing for me. So my next video will be a really easy one for you. My video will be how to make an easy pot holder, and I mean easy, less than 30 minutes to make one. So to keep informed on all my future videos, click on subscribe at the bottom of the screen. I'm Cheryl. I'm really glad you came to my sewing room. See you next time, and happy sewing.